Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome to today's math lesson. Today is May 8th, 2020. I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and hopefully the weather will be nice and you can go out over the weekend. Today expectations always the same. Make sure you're proactive, watch the video and take notes, complete our assignments including independent practice, check any additional resources that I posted, and make sure to review the feedback if I return your score. Make sure that if you have any assignments that you score below 65%, that you retake them before the end of the marking period. For the warm-up, you are asked to come up with one conclusion from this dot plot. So one thing you can say, maybe you can say 5 people or there are more people that are 5'4" than any other height. You can also say that 7 people are shorter than 5'4", or you can say that the tallest person from this team is 5'6". So there are many things you can say about the dot plot, and today we are going to dig deeper on how can we interpret data from a histogram. So let's look at this first example. The histogram shows the number of digital music files each student in a class has on a computer or other electronic player. Briefly describe the data. When you are asked to briefly describe the data, there are a few things you can describe, but first of all, let's look at our histogram. So this histogram has, of course, the title. The title is number of digital files students have. And let's look on the bottom. The bottom represents number of digital music files, starting from 0 to 699. So there are some students who have, there are 2 students who have 0 to 99 music files on their computer or other electronic players. And there are 12 students who has 100 to 199 music files on their players, and about 9 students, I'm going to just write this down to take note for myself. So there are 9 students also who has 200 to 299 songs in their players, and there are 300 to 399 4 students that has 300 to 399 songs in the player. There are 3 students that has 400 to 499 songs in the player, and there's 1 student who has 500 to 599 songs, and 1 student with 600 to 699 songs. So a few things I noticed already is that the majority of students have 100 to 299 music file. Majority means more than half. So out of all students, majority of them has around 100 to 299 music files. So that is the frequency that I just described. The next part, I can also describe the shape of the histogram. So this histogram is the majority of the data goes to the left side. So when you look at the data, it looks like it has a tail to the right. This is the tail. So this histogram is right skewed. So I just described the shape of the histogram. The range of data. So the third thing I can describe is the range. And the range comes from the biggest value in the data subtracted by the least value. So the biggest value of this data set is 699 and the least is 0. So the range is 699 minus 0 equals to 699. So the range of this data set is 699. Lastly, I can count the total of the value that occur in this data set. So I can add up all the number of the students, and turns out that there are a total of 32 students in the classroom. So let me recap really quick. When you are asked to describe the data, you can describe its frequency, what happens the most, what happens the least, or what happens to the majority. You can describe the shape, right skewed, left skewed, symmetrical. You can describe the range, which is the least value of the data, and the highest value of the data subtract by the least value of the data. And in some case, you can also describe the outlier, which is just a weird situation that happens outside of, that is not related to anyone else. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so let's look at this first histogram that you're going to have to pick in your answer, which description is the closest to what this histogram is about. So this histogram shows the number of representatives each state sent to the US Congress in 2011. Briefly describe the data. So let me start from the frequency. I can already see that most states, a lot of states, 36 states sent 1 to 10 representative. Only about 7 sent 11 to 20. Only about 2 sent 21 to 30. One state sent 31 to 40. And one state sent 51 to 60 representative. So we can say that most of the states sent 1 to 10 representative. The shape, it looks like the head is most of the data is geared towards the left hand side and the tail goes on the right hand side. So if it's the tail is to the right hand side, then this data is right skewed. The tail is on the right. For the range of the data, you will have to subtract the highest value and the lowest value, and the difference will be your range. And because the data has a gap right here, we can say that this 51 to 60, this one state that sends 51 to 60 representative is our outlier. If you didn't fully understand it, you can go back and rewatch the video again. But if you're ready, you can also move on to the next task. So this histogram shows the highest temperature in degree Fahrenheit recorded during December for one city. The temperature were recorded to the nearest degree. Briefly describe the data. So on the bottom part, it shows the range of temperature. On the left-hand side, it shows the number of day, which means that there are 2 days in this city that the temperature is between 22 to 24 degree Fahrenheit. There are 2 days that is 25 to 27. 3 days that is 28 to 30, 5 days that is 31 to 33 degree Fahrenheit, and so on. So you can describe the frequency, what is the mostly, where is the temperature at, and you can describe the shape, what does it look like, symmetrical, left skewed, right skewed. You can describe the range by subtracting the highest value and the lowest value. And you can ask yourself if there's any outlier in this data set. So I'm going to give you some time to complete this task, and I'll see you in a moment.